Yes, Zara, I forgot it. Then you reminded me. Okay, thanks. Okay, I started the recording. I intentionally forget it. Okay, so that at least you are awake at the start of the session. Okay, so how many observations we want to take? Okay, travel time run means travel time observations. That's good. Okay, so we want to find out how many number of observations, number of runs are required to estimate the average travel time with 95% confidence interval to be within plus minus 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and 10 minutes of to be within plus minus 2, 5, and 10 minutes of the value. Okay, and the standard deviations are given 5, 10, and 15 minutes. Okay, so we are required to calculate the number of observations required to have a confidence interval of 95%, and we need to try different values of standard deviation, okay, and different values of tolerance levels. Okay, these values plus minus 2, plus minus 5, and plus minus 10 are tolerance levels. Now, where are they going? Where are these values going? We drive the equation for calculating number of samples for spot speed. And as I mentioned yesterday, the equations which we are using here are the same which we have discussed in that topic. Okay, so it's not a new equation which you see on the slide. The equation is nothing new. We already derived it for spot speed. And this equation we try to calculate n, and we have a standard deviation, and we have the tolerance level. Okay, so standard deviations, there are 3 values given, and E is the tolerance level. Again, 3 values are given. Okay, so we need to use them to calculate the values. Okay, I'm doing it on the same sheet which I used yesterday, so you have everything at one place. So I'll make a table here, 3 values. Okay, so I'm going to put standard deviation here, 5 minute, 10 minute, 15 minute. Put the tolerance level here. Okay, I remember the equation. It is taking a long time to upload. Anyways, so for example, if you want to calculate the number of values required with 5 minutes standard deviation and 2 minutes tolerance level. So E is 2 and S is 5. So it will be 3.84 multiplied by the square of 5 will be 25, and the square of 2 will be 4. So how much is this? How much is this value? 24. Okay, we'll do it column by column. Okay, column by column. So now give me this value now. So tolerance level will change from 2 to 5. So it's 20. Okay, so this is 25 upon 25, so only 3.84. Okay, give me the last value. 0.96. Okay, now we can move on to this column then. Okay, so instead of so you will use the same equation but with 10 minutes standard deviation. 6 or 1, that is fine. You can write 1 as well, no problem. Okay, how much is this value? The second column, first value. Now you know the equation, okay? I'm not writing the full equation again and again. So in this equation, these are the S values and these are the E values. $96. Okay, next one. I think 96 is the correct answer. Second value. 56, and this value will be, again you will be doing 10 square upon 10 square, so it will be 3.84, right? Our third column. Okay. Next. Okay. Last value. 0.64. Okay, so well done. Calculate the values. We calculated all the values. Now few important points, but I would say the first point is now you can see the values. They are in fractions. Okay, values can be in fractions. You are using an equation to calculate them. They can be in fractions. So for example, if you want to take this combination, 5 minutes tolerance level, 15 minutes standard deviation. So your value is 34.56. Now these are number of observations. So 34.56 cannot be the number which you will take in the end. Okay, you can either take 34 observations or 35 observations. Okay, how many would you take? 34 or 35? How many observations would you take? 34 or 35? 35. Okay. And what if I use this combination? What if I have a value of 15.36? Should I take 15 or 16 number? The number of observations should be 15 or 16? 15. No, 15. I think you are saying 15 because it is closer to 15, right? You are rounding it off. But 16. 16, 15 or 16, obviously. Okay, so you will take 16 observations. If you go with this combination, you will take 16 observations, not 15 and not 60 as well. Okay, so 16 observations, because the numbers which you are getting from the equation are required numbers, a required number of observations. So you cannot do less than required. Even by a fraction, we don't do it. Okay, so either you take it equal to the required number. So if it is in fraction, then taking it equal to the required number is not possible. Then you take it the higher value. Okay, so you are equal to the required or more than the required. We cannot be less than the required. Okay, so these numbers which you see here, they are the required values. So you cannot do less than required. So 15 is not possible. 15 is not possible. Okay, another thing which you can see in this table, when you increase the standard deviation, so when you go from column 1 to column 2 and 3, the number of values are increasing. The answer, the samples are increasing. Okay, so why is that? Because the standard deviation is a measure of dispersion in the data, a measure of variation in the data. So when variation in the data increases, you have to take more values to cover the variation. For example, if I asked you take the data for students in a traffic engineering course. So students in a traffic engineering course don't have so much variation in them. Okay, they all belong to the same discipline. They are almost similar in the age groups. They are on the in the same academic level. Okay, most of you are in the final years. So there's not much variation in the data. So a few samples will do in that case. But if I ask you collect the sample for the entire civil engineering department students, so in that case the sample would be more because the required sample would be more because now you have to cover students from all courses and students from different years and so on. Okay, so all these courses and different years were increasing the variation in the data, dispersion in the data. So whenever you have more variation and dispersion in the data, number of collected samples should be more. Okay. Secondly, if you go from row 1 to row 3, you can see the number of values are decreasing. Why? Because the tolerance level is increasing. Now tolerance, another name given to tolerance is acceptable error. Acceptable error. Okay, so when you are increasing your acceptable error, you are basically decreasing your precision level. Okay, so if you are willing to accept more error or have less precise data, then you need to you don't need to collect more values. Then a small sample is sufficient for you. Okay, I think if I say the other way around, it will be easier for you to understand. If you want more precision in the data, a lower error in your data, you should collect more values. Okay, I think this is easier to grasp. Okay, more precision requires more values to minimize error, right? And maybe you remember, but I highly doubt if you remember because you guys don't remember anything from previous years. But anyways, if you remember, if any one of you remembers when you were doing the surveying practicals, surveying lab, you used to take multiple readings for the same observation. Okay, why? Again, to increase the precision. Okay, so even for one observation, if you do it repetitively, it can increase the precision of your observation. Okay, same thing happens with any sample as well. When you increase the number of samples, it reduces your error and increases your precision. Okay, so these were a couple of important points. Yeah, 16. Every time it is 16. Like you always go for required, exactly equal to required, or more than that. Okay. Another example, you see the table. In this table, the values are given from a summary of 5 runs. So all these values were like measured or observed 5 times, and then they are giving you the average of those 5 values. Okay, of those 5 observations. Okay, so each of these values is the average of 5 observations. Okay, so they had started the survey from checkpoint number 1. Okay, this is the starting point, and they ended at checkpoint number 7, 1 to 7. Okay, then the length was measured cumulative meaning from checkpoint number 1. The travel time was measured again cumulative, means all these values are measured from checkpoint number 1. Then delay and number of stops are given for each section. And why it is given for each section, I've already explained it in the previous 2 lectures. Okay, if you don't remember it, please go back and have a look at them. Now what I have to do in this question, tabulate and graphically present the results of travel time and delay runs. Okay, and show the average travel speed and average running speed for each section. So first of all, I need travel time and delay for each section, and then I need to calculate travel speed and running speed for each section. Now for delay, I don't need to calculate it. Delay is already given for each section. It is mentioned in the table that these values are for each section. And why? I already explained it earlier. Okay, because you have a separate stopwatch for that. So I need to calculate the travel time of each section. The first thing I need to calculate is the travel time of each section because I have cumulative travel time. Okay, so it's very simple that if you have the cumulative value, you want it for each group or each section, you will take the difference. We have done it for spot speed as well. So let me go there. Now I've tried putting the table from the slide here. It takes a very long time. Okay, so I will just do it like this. So I have 7 points meaning 6 sections. 7 point meaning 6 sections. Okay, so section from point 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7. I need to calculate the travel time in minutes and seconds. Okay, so 1 to 2, no problem, because the first value is from 1 to 2. Okay, so 2 minutes 5 seconds as it is. Second value, I need it from 2 to 3. This value is given from 1 to 3. Okay, 450 is from point 1 to point 3. Okay, so I need to take the difference between 450 and 205. So okay, so 450 minus 2 minutes is 250, and 250 minus 5 seconds is 245. Then again 730 minus 450, so 7 minus 4 is 3, and then 330 minus 50 will give you 240. Then 910 minus 730, so 9 minus 7 is 2, and so I will have 210 here. Then 210 minus 30 will give you 140. Then 1027 minus 910, so 10 minus 9 is 1, and 27 minus 10 is 17. Then 1154 minus 1027, so 11 minus 10 is 1, and 54 minus 27 is 27. Okay. So I hope you can keep up with me. Okay, I'll try to do it quickly because I have the practice. Okay, and again, an advice for you: if you have the practice, then things will be easier for you. Okay, so practice as much as you can. You have 2 textbooks, both editions. Many of you have taken my previous exam papers as well, so a lot of things to practice. Okay, then running time. Again in minutes and seconds. Running time is travel time minus delay. Okay, so travel time, I've just calculated the travel time, and delay is given for each section here. Okay, so the travel time which I've calculated minus these values. Okay, so for example, 2 minutes 5 seconds minus 10 seconds. These values are in seconds. Okay, so 2 minutes 5 seconds minus 10 seconds will give you 1 minute 55. Okay, not 1 minute 95. Okay, a minute doesn't have 95 seconds. Huh? The same problem which I mentioned yesterday. Some of you make this mistake. Okay, for the second section, the delay is 30. So 245 minus 30 will give you 215. Then 240 minus 25 will give you 215 again. Then 140 minus 42 will give you 0.58. Then 117 minus 47 will give you 0.30. 127 minus 14 will give you 113. Okay, any problem, any confusion? Are you with me up till now? Mariam, Haneen, Hashim, Zahra, everybody is with me? Okay. Now we calculate the travel speed and running speed. Okay, in miles per hour. Okay, so but before that, for calculation of travel speed, I need what? I have travel time and I need what? What else do I need? If I want to calculate travel speed, I need what? Or how would I calculate the speed in this case? Distance, yeah. So I need the distance for each, yeah, I need the distance for each section now. The distance again given cumulative. Okay, so for the sake of convenience, I will calculate the length for each section as well. Okay, so again for the first section, no problem. It is 1 to 2, 1 mile. Okay, for the second section, 2.25 minus 1, so 1.25. Third section, 3.5 minus 2.25, so that is 1.25 again. 4 minus 3.5, 0.5. 4.25 minus 4, 0.25. 5 minus 4.25 is 0.75. Okay. Then we have the, now we can calculate the travel speed, right? So travel speed, like you said, distance upon time. So time distance is 1. Okay. Now time, it's in minutes and seconds. So I cannot use it like this. So 2 minutes 5 seconds will be 2 into 60 plus 5. Okay. 2 minutes into 60 seconds to convert it to seconds plus the extra 5 seconds. So you would get the answer in mile per second, right? Then I need to convert it to miles per hour. So 3600. How much is this? $28.8. Okay. Next value. $1.25. Then you have 45 here. This 33.3. Okay. Next one. So now you have 240. Okay. 1.25 length. No, it should be higher than 33.3. 1.25 divided by this into 3600. Cannot be 21.8. Yes, anyone? Either there's a problem with this value or this value. This cannot be 33.3 then. Because you see, the length is same. Here time is 245, here it is 240. So this one should have slightly higher speed and so on. Second is 27.27. Okay. Next. So now we are calculating the fourth value. 0.5 miles length, 140. Okay. Then next 0.25 miles length and 117 time. $7.688. Okay. Then 0.75 miles length and 127 is the time. $31.03. Okay. Then we calculate the running speed. The only difference will be instead of using travel time, you will use running time. Okay, so this column will be used. So the length will remain the same. Time will be 1 minute and 55 seconds. How much is this? $1.30. Okay. Okay, next one. Length is 1.25 and the time is 2 minutes 15 seconds. This one would be the same because time and length are same. Okay, next one, fourth value, length 0.5 and time is 58 seconds. This is 31.03. Okay. Next one, 0.25 miles length, time 30 seconds. So 0.25 divided by 30 into 3600. Then last one, 0.75, 1 minute 30 seconds, 13 seconds. Okay. The next thing, what is given in the question is to graphically represent these values. Okay. I just thought I don't usually do it, but I just thought that maybe you should have a taste of what you can do with the Excel. Okay, so we'll do the plotting as well. I will show you the plotting. Okay, you will not do it. I will show you the plotting. Travel time. Now, for the sake of Excel, you have to convert travel time and running time to seconds. Okay, Excel cannot plot minutes and seconds. Can it? I don't know. Yeah, it will take it as time. Okay, so this is dangerous. Okay, so 1 to 2. Okay, another point which may be important when you are doing it for your projects or for your senior projects or for any other course. If I simply put 2-3 here, Excel will convert it into a date. Okay, same thing happens if I put 2:30 here. Excel will convert into time. Okay, time like the clock time. Okay, not minutes and seconds, clock time. Okay, so if you want to put something and you want Excel to take it as it is, don't convert it to anything, then you put a small comma before it, like this one. Okay, so I put the comma, then I write 2-3. So it will keep it as it is. Okay, anything which you put with dash or colon, Excel automatically converts it to date and time. Okay, if you don't want this to happen, then do it with a comma at the beginning. Okay. Time calculated. So I have to convert it to seconds now. Okay, seconds. Okay. So 2 minute 5 seconds means 2 into 60 plus 5. Okay, so 2 into 60 plus 5, 125. Okay, then we have 2 and 45. So 2 minutes means 120 seconds plus 45 is 165. Similarly, 240 means 120 plus 40, which is 160. Then 140 means 60 plus 40, which is 100. Then 60 plus 17, that is 77. And then we have 60 plus 27, which is 87. Running time, do the same thing. So 60 plus 55 is 115. Then 120 plus 15 is how much? 135. 30 and 73. Okay, then I can write down the travel speed and running speed as well. I have the values here: 28.8, 27.27, 28.125, 11.688. If you don't have any numbers after decimal, don't worry about it. If you write it, don't write it. It doesn't mean anything to Excel. 31.03, 31.30, 33. 1.03, 6.99. Okay, now if you want to plot it, select the columns which you want to plot, which are these columns. Go to Insert, Charts. Usually we go for a bar diagram. Okay, so you can select the tab of the chart from here, from the left hand side. This is fine. Okay, so when I plot it, so you can see it's plotted because I already selected the columns to be plotted. So the first column is always taken on the horizontal axis. The remaining columns are taken on the vertical axis. And you can see the legends over here. Blue lines are for travel time, and the orange lines are for running time. Okay, if you want to put a chart title, you select it and you can put the chart title. Okay, so this is the graph for travel time or running time. If you want to plot travel speed and running speed, so you select these two columns. Again, you go for Insert, Recommended Chart, Bar Diagram. So you see bar diagram is not showing. So I'll select it from here as a bar diagram. Now I'll do it. Okay, so you can see the things which are plotted are travel speed and running speed, which is fine. Okay, no problem. But the horizontal axis is not the one which I wanted. I wanted the section points here. Okay, so I could not select the section column with these two columns because they are not beside each other. If the columns are consecutive, you can select it all at once. But the columns are separated from one another, so I have to change the horizontal axis then. Okay, so I will go there in chart design, select data. So these two are for the vertical axis, and this one is for the horizontal axis. It's written here as well. Okay, so you go there, edit, select the values you want to plot on the horizontal axis. Okay, then okay. So you can see the point of the section, the points of the sections are now shown here. Okay, what you can see, these two graphs, travel time is always higher than the running time because each section has a delay. If there was a section without delay, then travel time and running time will be together, will be like not together, same. Okay, same thing with the travel speed and running speed as well. Travel speed is always lower than the running speed in this case because of delay in each section. Without delay, they can be equal. Okay, moving on. So we did this. Okay, now second part of the same question. So we are on the same question. You can see the same values written here. In the same question, now they are asking that they will hire some vehicles and each vehicle will make 5 runs, as we mentioned at the start, 5 observations. So each vehicle will make 5 observations. How many test vehicles would be required to achieve a tolerance level of 3 miles per hour and 95% confidence interval? Okay, so how many test vehicles? Each vehicle make 5 runs. So if I can know how many runs I require, how many observations I require, then I can calculate how many vehicles I need to have. Okay, because each vehicle will make 5 runs. So I need to calculate the number of samples again. The one thing which we did at the start today. Okay, so I need to calculate the n value. So E is given 3 miles per hour. What is S? Now you can see here S is given in terms of, E is given in terms of speed, not time. Okay, the unit of E is what? Speed. So I should calculate the standard deviation of speed as well. I should calculate the standard deviation of speed as well. Okay, I have 2 types of speeds. In this question, I have calculated 2 types of speeds, running speed and travel speed. So you can have n value on the basis of running speed and you can have n value on the basis of travel speed as well. Because in each case, the standard deviation will be different, S value will be different. Okay. So first of all, I need to calculate the S value. Okay. Now we used an equation for calculating the standard deviation yesterday, and that was the same equation which we used for the spot speed data as well. We are not going to use the same equation in this case. Why? Because that equation is for frequency distribution data. This data is not frequency distribution. Frequency distribution data looks like what? You have a group of value or a range of value, and then you have the number of observations for that group or for that range. This data is not like that. Okay, this data has what? 6 sections, 6 values. That's it. 6 individual values. Okay, so for calculating the standard deviation, we will be using the normal equations, the equations which you may already know. For example, if I have to calculate mean for this data, for these 7 values, mean is equal to this summation of values upon number of values. I have 6 values, so n will be 6. Okay, so you do the summation of all values divided by number of values. Simple. Okay, so no multiplication of number of observations with the mid value or something like this. There's nothing like that, because the data is not frequency distribution data. Okay, there's no frequency or number of observations for each range of travel time. Okay, so we cannot use that equation which we used yesterday. Similarly, if for individual values, the standard deviation is calculated in this manner. Okay, so standard deviation requires what? You take each value, take the difference with the mean of the data, then do the square, and then do the summation for all, do the summation of this for all the values, and then divide by number of values minus 1. So in this case, it will be 6 minus 1, 6 values minus 1. Okay, and then you take the square root. Okay, this is the standard deviation equation which we use for many cases. Okay, because most of the times we have a bunch of values, 6 values, 10 values, 20 values. Okay, frequency distribution is a very rare case. Okay, so most of the times we will be using, or we use normally, this equation for mean and this equation for standard deviation. Okay, so I know you know how to calculate the mean, right? Summation of values upon number of values. You know that. Okay, if you want to do it in Excel, so in Excel there's a function which is known as average. Okay, so I'll use that function to calculate the mean for travel speed and running speed. Okay, so equals to average, then you select all the values. Okay, so this is the average for travel speed, and then the average for running speed. 32.66. Okay, so I need the average or the mean for calculating the standard deviation because I am taking the difference with the average. Okay, so I have these two columns which are for the differences. So I took each value and I then took the difference with its mean and then did the square. Okay, so for example, for the first section, I got 21.16. How? The value of travel speed for the first section was 28.8 minus the mean. How much is the mean? 22.48. Sorry for that. 22.48, then it's a square. When you do the square, you will get 21.16. Okay, so this is for the first section. You do the same thing for the other sections as well. The mean will remain the same, but the value will change. Then for running speed, took the value of running speed for the first section minus the mean for the running speed, which is 32.66. Again, 2.66. Then you do the square, you get 33.61, and then you do the same thing for other segments as well. Mean will remain the same, and this value will be the value of the running speed. Okay, and then you do the summation, put the summation in this equation, divide by 5, the square root, to get a standard deviation. Okay, you can do that. But there's a function in Excel to calculate standard deviation as well. I'll show you. This function is called STDEV, standard deviation. Okay, use that function, put the bracket, select the values for which you want to calculate the standard deviation, and then this is the standard deviation for travel speed. Okay, we want to do the same thing for running speed. I'll just copy and paste. So 2.499 for travel speed. Okay, now we can calculate the n values. Okay, on the basis of travel speed and running speed. I'll come here. N for travel speed 3.84 multiplied by standard deviation square. Standard deviation is 11.13. That divided by the square of the tolerance level. Tolerance level is given as 3. Square will be 9. So how much is this value? Running speed, the standard deviation will change. Give me these values. $52.85. Okay. Okay. What about the second one? Yes, you take 53. You can take 53. You should take 53. Second one. How much is this value? On the basis of running speed? 2.66. Okay. Equal to. Okay, so you should take 3 values. Now, just a note here. I think there is some mistake in calculating one of these values. Okay, so you need to recheck your calculation. Okay, because these are not the values which I am getting, which I was getting with the other section. But don't worry. Okay, the concept is the same, procedure is the same. Just recheck the values. Okay, so if you want to take 53 observations and you have each vehicle taking 5 observations, then you need 10 vehicles for 50 observations and then 1 additional vehicle to take the last 3 observations. So it will be 11 vehicles in this case. Okay, and in this case 1 vehicle will do. since we are employing 11 vehicles and each vehicle can take 5 observations, so why should I stop at 53? I should take 55 observations. Okay, same thing here as well. One vehicle can take 5 observations, so why should I stop at 3 observations? I should take 5 observations. Okay, so it was given the question, each vehicle makes 5 observations. Okay, so how many vehicles I require? If I need 53 observations, then I need 11 vehicles. But with 11 vehicles, the last vehicle is only doing 3 observations. Why should I stop there? I should make that vehicle, I should utilize that vehicle to the full extent as well. So I will make 55 observations in the end. Okay, but this is not so important. Okay, important part is this one, that you need 11 vehicles to cover 53 observations. Okay, and this is, again, this is important. This is optional. Okay, whether you want to use the vehicle to all the number of observations or not, this is optional. Okay, this is nothing compulsory. Okay, you can stop at 53 and 3 observations, no problem. Okay, the last thing which I want to do here is explain the concept of travel time contour map. It will only take a minute because I've already explained it. So a travel time contour map is a map of the city. In that map, you will see contour lines. These contour lines are joining the segments which are having the same travel time from a reference point. So the reference point is usually in the middle of the map. You plot the map, so your reference point is in the middle. And then from that point, you take travel times in all directions, and then segments having same travel time from the reference point are joined with a time contour line. Okay. So for example, you can see there are 2 contour lines in this map. The bold one is showing the contour of 30 minutes travel time from this reference point. So this is my reference point in the middle, and this travel time, the segments which are joined by this travel time are having 30 minutes of travel time from this reference point. And there's another contour line. This contour line joins all the segments which are having 15 minutes of travel time from the reference point. Okay, so 30 minutes and 15 minutes. Now, why do we plot a travel time contour map? A travel time contour map can help you show the area of interest or catchment area of a facility. So normally the reference point is basically a facility. Okay, like a shopping mall, an airport, a hospital. Okay, so we want to know people from which area can come to this hospital, and that depends upon their travel time. Okay, so for example, if it's a mall, people travel up to 15-20 minutes to get to a mall, not more than that. So if the mall wants to plan for its traffic flow and parking, then it should be trying to fulfill the requirements of this much area, because this much area has a travel time of 15 minutes from the reference point. Okay. Similarly, if it's a hospital, then for a big hospital, people may even travel from a longer distance. So this whole area can be the area from which people can come to your reference point or your facility. Okay, if it's an airport, then even from a contour line of 1 hour can even a reference line or a contour line of 1 hour can show you the area of interest for your facility. So depending upon the area of interest of your the type of facility, the area of interest can be bigger or smaller. The catchment area can be bigger or smaller. So the travel time contour map is helpful in planning for the traffic which will come towards your facility, because you know from which areas people can come. Okay, and for doing for plotting a travel time contour map, you need to take travel time for the entire region. You cannot take a travel time. You cannot take travel time observations for one highway or one segment and then plot this contour map, because you need travel time in all directions from the reference point. So you have to drive and on all the highways which are coming out of your reference point in all different routes. Then you can plot the travel time contour map. So travel time contour map is not so easy to plot. Okay. Any questions? Any problems? Any confusion? Anything you want to say? Please go ahead. Okay. If there's nothing, then have a good day. I'll see you guys on Thursday, inshallah. We will continue with some more examples. So today we mainly did two examples, one for sample size and the other one for calculation of travel time, running time, and sample size again. Okay, so next time we'll do inshallah some more calculations for travel time and delay. So have a nice day. See you guys on Thursday inshallah. Thanks for listening and participating. You are welcome. Assalamu alaikum.